It's recording. All right, this is our presentation on global climate change by Penny May, Faith McHugh, Lennox Wright, and Adelaide Allred. We are section AI. So our overview. Climate change negatively impacts all people around the world, but rich countries like the US are well equipped to handle climate change mitigation, while poorer countries, especially those situated on tropical or low-lying areas or with a colonial history, are less prepared to handle climate change, and yet they are the most vulnerable to its effects. So our direct and indirect causes of climate change. Some direct, the fossil fuel emissions from human activity put CO2, which is a potent greenhouse gas, into the atmosphere. This contributes to atmospheric warming and more severe weather. Human destruction of habitats for key species. This makes ecosystems less resilient and less able to bounce back after a disaster. And then overexploitation of resources. The population uses resources faster than the earth can sustainably replenish them. And this is especially true for the wealthy who are big overconsumers and generate far more waste than the average person. And then our indirect, silencing indigenous people. So in countries where that have a colonial history, um, where indigenous people still exist, they have an extensive knowledge of how to care for their land. But this knowledge is most often lost through assimilation, and this makes climate change worse because the land is not being properly cared for. And then lack of education, a lot of the information regarding climate change never makes it to local levels, which leaves communities uninformed and vulnerable. So onto our dimensions and impacts.
Some of the environmental impacts from global climate change can be global warming, obviously. And this is caused by the release of greenhouse gases from cars, factories, fires, and so many other sources. Um, Another impact is rising of sea levels, and this creates habitat loss and forces populations residing in low-lying areas to move. This includes islands and states on the Gulf of Mexico, like Florida. It can also cause droughts, which can also lead to more forest fires, causing more global warming. Some social impacts from global climate change can be or are that poor populations feel the effects of climate change more directly, low-income countries especially. Um, Also, the loss of nature can affect the mental health and physical health of people. Climate change causes also many health problems for people, so this is not great for people. Um, Some economic impacts from global climate change are that it rises or causes a rise in insurance rates. Extreme weather can make certain areas undesirable to insure. Um, it can also cause new environmental technology, but this technology is not affordable for lower income populations or areas. And lastly, it causes infrastructure damages. Like because of extreme weather caused by climate change, it can result in millions of dollars of repairs.
And then for solutions, impacts of global climate change are already being felt, especially as it refers to sea level rise and coastal change, etc. As you can see in the graph. And then, but the best way that we can reduce the effects that global climate change has on the environment, people, and the economy is through mitigation because we can slow how strongly these impacts are felt.
Another solution that we found was education, informing people, especially children, and not only about climate change, but also the importance of nature will allow people to foster a love of the environment and become motivated to protect it. And also in many countries, people are unaware of the severity of climate change due to like their government undermining the effects of it and what's going on around them. So yeah.
Right, and that's our presentation, global climate change. Hey, I'm just gonna stop recording.